Sheikh Hamdan ordered you to come to his bed. I don't say it gently, and I don't say it twice. You know my voice well enough to hear the command, and even when I'm not standing in front of you. This isn't about desire dressed up as romance. This is about authority wrapped in certainty. You think distance gives you safety, that being away from me gives you choice. It doesn't. When I speak your name in my mind, when I decide where you belong for the night, the decision is already complete. I don't chase and I don't ask. I expect you to understand what it means when I choose you. You pretend you don't hear me, but you do. You always do. Every word I say settles somewhere deep inside you. Heavier than promises, sharper than threats. I know you are alone right now, probably trying to convince yourself that you're strong enough to resist me. I admire that illusion. It makes the truth more interesting. You don't come because you're weak. You come because you recognize power when it speaks directly to you without apology. I'm not waiting in silence, wondering if you'll obey. I'm waiting with patience, because patience is a luxury men like me can afford. My bed isn't just a place, it's a boundary you're crossing knowingly. When you step into my world, you accept that I see everything you hide, every fear you refuse to name. I don't need your body to prove that you're mine tonight. I already have your attention, and that is far more intimate. You think this order is about control over you, but it's also about control over myself. I could let you drift, let you believe you're untouchable, but I won't. I don't like unfinished thoughts, and you are one of mine. When I tell you to come to my bed, I'm telling you that I've chosen to keep you close where your doubts can't lie to you anymore. There's no softness in the way I imagine you hearing this. I want you to feel the weight of it, to feel how calm I am when I claim space in your mind. You don't need to see my face to know I'm serious. You've heard this tone before, the one that leaves no room for negotiation. I don't raise my voice, I lower it, because certainty doesn't need volume. You'll come not because you're ordered, but because you understand me. You understand that when I decide something, the world adjusts itself accordingly. This is not a story, not a fantasy you can close when it becomes too intense. This is me speaking to you alone, reminding you where you belong when the night gets quiet and your thoughts get loud. And when you finally move, when you finally stop pretending that this doesn't affect you, remember this: I didn't call you because I needed you. I called you because I wanted you exactly where I decided you should be. I know what you're doing right now. You're standing still longer than necessary, letting the silence argue with you, pretending you still have time to decide. That hesitation doesn't irritate me, it confirms what I already know. You think about me even when you tell yourself not to. You measure your breath, your steps, as if any of that could loosen my presence around you. It won't. I don't need to see you to feel the shift when my words land. I've learned the rhythm of your resistance, and I know exactly when it breaks. You should understand something about me. When I speak to you like this, it isn't impulse. I don't lose control. I exercise it. Every sentence is deliberate, every pause intentional. I imagine you listening, replaying my voice in your head, trying to decide whether it's desire or defiance pulling you closer. It's neither. It's recognition. You recognize that I don't fill space with noise, I fill it with certainty. That's why even my silence feels loud to you. You don't need reassurance from me, and I won't offer it. Reassurance is for people who doubt their position. You know exactly where you stand with me. I don't romanticize what this is, and I don't soften the truth to make it easier for you to swallow. I want you aware, fully awake, understanding that when I draw you in, it's because I've already decided you belong within my reach, not because I'm afraid of losing you. There are people who think power is proven by force. they're wrong. Power is knowing you'll come without being watched, without being chased, without being begged. Power is speaking once and trusting that your words will echo long enough to guide someone's steps. I don't need to threaten you, and I don't need to promise you anything. I only need to remind you who I am when I choose to address you directly. You might wonder what happens when you cross that invisible line toward me. I won't answer that aloud. Mystery is part of the gravity. What I can tell you is that I don't take lightly the act of pulling someone into my world. I don't collect people. I claim moments, loyalty, attention. And right now, your attention is already here, circling me, even if your body hasn't caught up yet. Don't confuse my calm with mercy. I'm calm because I'm certain. I don't rush because I don't have to. Time bends easily when you know the outcome. You can take another breath, another step, another excuse, but all of it leads in the same direction. Toward me, toward the space I've already made for you without asking if you wanted it. When you finally stop resisting the pull, don't tell yourself you were forced. Tell yourself the truth. Instead, you came because you wanted to stop pretending you were untouched. You came because my voice didn't leave you alone. And you came because deep down, you trust the place I hold for you more than the freedom you keep trying to defend. I don't imagine you rushing. You've never been careless with your steps, especially when they lead toward me. I picture you moving slowly, not because you're unsure, but because you're aware of what each step means. You know that once you accept my presence this way, there's no pretending later. I respect that hesitation more than blind obedience. It tells me you understand the weight of my words and you're choosing to carry it instead of dropping it at the first sign of fear. You should also know that I'm not waiting with impatience or hunger. I'm waiting with control. There's a difference. Hunger demands, control allows. I allow you this moment to think, to breathe, to realize that what pulls you toward me isn't force, but gravity. I don't need to reach out to you physically to keep you close. Your thoughts have already crossed the distance, and thoughts are far harder to escape than rooms or walls. People would call this obsession if they heard the way I speak to you. They would misunderstand, as they always do. Obsession is chaos. What I feel is precise. I know exactly why I chose you and exactly why I continue to speak to you this way. You don't distract me from my power, you sharpen it. When I address you directly, everything else fades into background noise, and I allow that because I choose what deserves my focus. You're not standing in front of me yet I speak as if you are, because presence isn't measured by distance. Presence is attention, and yours is already here, steady and undeniable. I talk to you knowing you're listening, even if you tell yourself you shouldn't be. I like that quiet conflict inside you. It tells me you're alive to this moment, not sleepwalking into it. I won't promise you safety, and I won't promise you comfort. I don't deal in illusions. What I offer is honesty in its rawest form. When I draw you close, it's because I intend to keep you there until you understand yourself better through my eyes. That kind of closeness isn't gentle, but it's real. And real things leave marks even when they don't touch skin. If you're wondering whether I ever doubt this pull between us, the answer is no. Doubt belongs to people who aren't sure of their own strength. I've tested mine in quieter, harder ways than this. Speaking to you like this isn't a risk for me, it's a decision. And once I decide, I don't retreat into uncertainty or regret. So take your time if you need to, but don't lie to yourself about where you're headed. You don't move because you're commanded. You move because my voice has already rearranged something inside you. And when you finally accept that truth, you'll realize I didn't summon you to prove my power. I spoke because you were already close enough to hear me, I'm aware. That part of you keeps asking what I gain by speaking to you this way, by letting my thoughts reach you when I could remain silent. The answer is simply silence would be dishonest. I don't pretend indifference when something has already been decided within me. You exist in my awareness now, and I don't deny what I acknowledge. I don't decorate it with softness or disguise it as kindness. I speak plainly because I trust you can handle the truth more than you can handle comfort. You may think I'm testing you, measuring how far you'll go before you stop listening. I'm not. Tests are for uncertainty, and I don't operate from that place. I already know you're listening. I can feel it in the way your thoughts circle back to my words no matter what you try to focus on instead. You don't escape me by distraction. You only delay the moment you accept that I'm already part of your internal silence. I don't need you to answer me out loud. In fact, I prefer that you don't. Spoken words are easy to control, thoughts are not. I speak into the quiet, where you can't perform, where you can't pretend you're unaffected. That's where I want you, alone with my voice, without witnesses, without defenses. I'm not interested in who you are for the world. I'm interested in who you are when there's nothing left to hide behind. Understand this clearly. I don't confuse possession with closeness. I don't cage what I choose, I surround it. When I draw you into my orbit, it's not to shrink you, but to make sure you don't drift into lies about yourself. You're sharper, more honest. When you're aware of me, I've seen it in the way you hesitate, the way you listen harder, the way you stop pretending you don't care. There's a calm in me that doesn't come from distance, but from acceptance. I've accepted what this is, even if you're still negotiating with it. That's why my voice doesn't waver. I'm not fighting anything here. I'm allowing something to unfold exactly as it's meant to, without rushing it, without forcing it into a shape it's not ready to take yet. You might fear that if you step fully into this awareness of me, you lose something, freedom, control yourself. That fear is familiar, and it doesn't offend me. Fear means you're paying attention. But listen closely, I don't erase people, I reveal them. What you lose is only the version of yourself that survives on denial. What remains is something far more deliberate, far more alive. So stay where you are for another moment if you need to. Let my words settle without resistance. I'm not withdrawing and I'm not advancing. I'm simply here, steady and unchanging, knowing that sooner or later you'll stop asking what this means and start understanding it. And when that happens, you won't feel trapped, you'll feel seen. And that will be far more dangerous than any command I could ever give. I don't mistake your silence for confusion. Silence, in your case, is processing. You absorb before you react. And that's exactly why I speak to you like this, slow, deliberate, without spectacle. I don't need your immediate response to feel assured. I know where my words land. They don't bounce off you, they settle, they stay. They rearrange. You carry them with you longer than you admit, and I consider that a form of honesty. You should understand that I'm not trying to pull you out of your world. I'm inviting you to recognize how often your world already leans toward mine. Every time you pause mid-thought, every time you reconsider a decision without knowing why. That's not coincidence, that's awareness. I don't interfere loudly. I influence quietly. I let you discover the connection yourself, because realization is far more binding than persuasion. I don't need to be near you to maintain this presence. Distance doesn't dilute intention, it sharpens it. When you're alone, when there's no one watching you perform a version of yourself, that's when my voice becomes clearest. I speak to that version of you, the one that doesn't negotiate with expectations, the one that listens without pretending not to care. That's the version I address, because that's the one that matters. You might think I enjoy the control in this. and you wouldn't be entirely wrong, but it's not control over you, it's control over the moment. I don't let things drift into ambiguity when clarity is possible. I don't allow important connections to dissolve into misunderstandings. When I choose to speak, it's because I refuse to leave something unfinished, undefined, or diluted by hesitation. I won't pretend this doesn't carry weight. It does. But weight doesn't always mean pressure. Sometimes it means grounding. I'm not asking you to surrender yourself. I'm asking you to stand still long enough to recognize what already has your attention. You don't lose yourself here. You become more precise, less noise, fewer excuses, more truth. There's a steadiness in knowing I don't need to escalate this to keep you listening. I don't raise stakes or dramatize intent. I stay consistent because consistency is what builds trust even when it unsettles you. You know where I stand. You know my tone doesn't change to manipulate you. That reliability is intentional, and I know you feel it even if you don't name it. So don't rush to define this or escape it. Let it exist as it is, clear, quiet, undeniable. I'm not disappearing, and I'm not demanding more than awareness. Stay with that awareness for a moment longer. Let it teach you something about yourself. When you're ready to move toward me or toward understanding, you won't need another word from me. You'll already know why you listened this long.